$20,000 for a garage door. Well, I can't afford that, so instead what we're doing is filling this space up with a top-of-the-line door without compromise for less than 20% of that original quote. Guys, welcome back to the Lone Star Hawaiian Garage. This whole thing started life as a bet with my wife, which I ended up winning, that I could build a dream shop here in my backyard. Well, I live in a homeowners association, which was an adventure altogether. Needless to say, we found a way to get this thing approved. When we quoted out the building, I received back a price that was 3 times what I had saved for the better part of a decade. So the only way to make this happen was to do it myself. And just a minor detail, I've never done anything like this before, which means I have no idea what I'm doing. Just don't tell anybody. So this entire project has been a very delicate balance between building the most epic shop that I possibly can in a space that I can grow into while also paying as little as I possibly can every single step of the way. My roofing company wanted over $18,000 to fully sheathe and roof the dream shop. I did it for less than $6 with the same quality of materials. Pella wanted over $500 for every single one of these insulated windows. I found them for about $170 a pop. Zip system wall sheathing prices have gone completely insane. I found an alternative that saved me several $1,000s. Heck, even the original general contractor wanted over $340,000 to build this crazy structure. I'm gonna do this thing for less than a third of that. But now, it's time for the doors. They're over here. So the original plan for the garage door was to do something just big enough for lifted trucks, but with the continued feedback from you guys to go as big as we possibly can for resale value, RV garages, etc., we've done exactly that. And that is 13 feet, 6 inches in height, 14 feet in width. This is as big as we could possibly go with how the building is framed. And here on the ground are 3 treated 2x10s, which is the result of searching through millions and millions of boards at my local Home Depot, just trying to find something that was straight. We never found them. The OG's here. It's time to actually get some work done. Our friends over at Element, who are sponsoring today's video, are gonna help us out today. It's gonna be over 100 degrees. It's summertime in Texas. Element's gonna be helping us out with hydration because hydration is beyond just drinking water. It's water in the right amount of electrolytes.
Watermelon sounds good.
I'm gonna grab citrus salt. So 16 to 32 ounces of water. This is just to keep us hydrated. It's gonna be so stinking hot. That's good. All right, Sarge, you ready?
Yep.
Let's get the party started. Gloves are still alive, barely. I know I said this last video, but this actually might be the last video for these gloves. That was easy. That's a win. We actually left a gap on the inside that's gonna be enough for the drywall, so when the drywall goes in, it sits on top of that board. I think that's what you do. That's what the internet said. Well, I hope the door fits after that. At a certain point, you just gotta trust that things are right. Are we breaking out the table? You know what that means? It's about time for our garage, I'll just say garage door hardware, but lunchtime sounds good. All right, the 2x10 treated garage door trim. I'm not sure what this is called. If you guys know what it is, put it in the comments below, but it is mounted. We've cut that at a 30-degree angle so that does not touch the concrete. So before this is all finished, I'll also do some flashing and kind of seal that bottom in. And on this side where it comes out, so we have our brick ledge here, the brick comes up. It'll also be flush up against this trim, seal that inside, and it'll all look nice and finished and clean. It's definitely not a day you want to be working outside, but this is the only day we have of the week to work on this thing. So we are taking the opportunity, even though we have a heat index today of 115. So I want to say thank you to the sponsor of today's video, Element, for helping us power through, because when you're sweating like we are on a day like today, it's not just about water, it's water and electrolytes. So good. Reminds me of surfing a lot. You get the ocean spray in your face, nice and salty, just reminisce. Just reminisce. And it makes sense. You lose both water and sodium when you sweat. Both need to be replaced to prevent muscle cramps, headaches, and energy dips that result from dehydration or low electrolytes. With 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium, Element has your electrolyte needs covered, and its community serves as proof. From U.S. Olympians to business leaders to the everyday heroes keeping hydration at the forefront of a daily routine. You can get yourself an Element sample pack with any purchase by using my link in the description below, drinkelement.com/Lone Star. Also, try out the new Element Sparkling, a bold 16-ounce can of sparkling electrolyte water. And you can try Element risk-free. If you guys don't like it, they return your order, no questions asked. Thank you again to Element for sponsoring today's video. Let's get this garage door up and get this shop moving. Kobe! What? Hey, you better be careful with that. Falling apart.
Hardware.
All right, well, just throw all this together and make that door. These big old drums. These are the high quality drums. Look how deep those ridges are.
Yeah. This one says left. Does that one say right?
Yep, it's got an R. So I watched a couple of videos that I could find on folks installing garage doors. And what I typically see process-wise, they lay out their first section and make sure it's exactly in the center of the garage door opening and making sure it's perfectly level. From there, you build up the tracks and the garage door sections all at the same time. So we have our bottom section here with the pre-installed kind of weather strip. The instructions are clear as mud, so this is going to be a really fun process. I'll go into detail later exactly how much we paid for a 14 by 13.5 foot fully insulated with insulated windows door. We have 7 full sections. This is a 3720 series. I believe the color I chose a bronze. The inside is actually like a satin finish white, which is perfect because the inside of the shop for the walls, I'm planning to go white. We organized everything that we could. We have different hinges and brackets. We have ones with number 1s on them, number 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Really, how hard could it be? Because this is a wind-rated door, I actually paid a little bit more to have this thing wind-rated. With the weather we've been having, as you've clearly seen over the last few videos, we're gonna need some kind of a wind-rated door, so we do have that. But because of that, we have these additional struts that go on the back to reinforce it. But it's also confusing us. All right, moving forward, just to move backwards, guys, we are learning the hard way. It turns out that my ambitious idea to accurately place our trim board away from the header board, that way the drywall would sit flush, actually that is a Achilles heel. Because now I gotta figure out how to cut that 3/8 inch off of this freaking board. I'm an idiot. I should have read the instructions, or I try to set this up beforehand, because the way the brackets are set up, they are riveted in, so there's no adjustability depth-wise on the bracket. So right now it's sitting too close because the bracket bolts into here, and this is sitting out a little bit. That door smashes up against this board and it's too tight. So, zip system. This is all one-handed. It's gonna be hard to see, there you go. That'll do, donkey. That'll do. Pop that in all the way up, we will be technically flush, and then the bracket will bolt up directly against the zip. Big mahalos to the crew. Thank you, Dad. Well, check that out, guys. You can see part of a door. The goal is to get those last 2 sections up, hopefully before this next week. Calling it a night. We'll see you guys back in a second. All right, back again the next day. Pretty cool to see these brackets go up. They come pre-assembled, the uprights anyways. If you look at the brackets, the distance between the bracket and the wall or the mounting surface, it actually increases as you go up. And as you go up, your brackets also change, and the wheel actually sits a little bit further out from the door than it is going down. That way when it rolls up, it's away from the wall, and then it seals up against it when it's all the way down. We have 2 more sections to go. The OG came back to help me out. Let's knock out these last 2 sections, and then we can finally show you guys what we paid for these doors, because I still can't believe the deal I got on these. And I got it for cheaper than the cheapest storage unit door, believe it or not. One more section to go. Sarge has already got the brackets drilled in. This 21 inches. Yeah, the last 2 sections on this door are a little bit shorter than 2 feet, because these are all 2 feet, just because the height of the door is 13.6. So they take that height out of the last 2 sections. Cross your fingers, guys. There is 21. Bingo! Looks like this is gonna fit. So we got our wheel. We're not gonna mount this down just yet, because when we put the door on here, we gotta basically flex this track outward to get the wheel slotted in, and then we bolt up everything. Last section. We can add that on once we get the track up, which is a whole nother battle we're gonna have to face. Get a big garage door, they said. It'll have good resale value, they said. Installation should only be completed by a trained professional. Failure to do so could lead to serious injury, death, or execution by firing squad. If you guys are enjoying the video in this series, be sure to scroll down, hit the subscribe button below, because we are 5,000 subs away from 200,000. It is mind-blowing we've come this far. If you want to see the day-to-day action and kind of the day-to-day updates, Instagram's the place to go. Lone Star Hawaiian on Instagram, but hit subscribe here. We are almost at 200K. Help me get there. Well, there's the inside of the door, guys. I'm not going to show you the outside just yet. It looks really good. But now's gonna be the fun nightmare of figuring out how to run these tracks. At the very end, we got this massive curve that links in to the one that is currently up there. But we have 15 feet of 2-inch track now to figure out how we're gonna hang it from the purlins. So I was reading in the instructions, if the door is over 12 feet in height, you're supposed to add 2 sets of these brackets. 1 set at the very end, and then 1 set dead in the middle. All right, I think we're back with the finest Hawaiian redneck engineering there is on this planet. We got both ends tied up. We have a rope through the eye hook, which is the wind column of the building. And now we're going up. All right, here we go. Yeah. For exactly what this hinge is? Man, I was so sure that was gonna work. All right, can't win them all, guys. We got our door. Can you believe it? We are far from done, but that's what it's gonna look like on the outside. So fully insulated door, 13.6 by 14 feet, wind code rated with insulated windows, delivered to my location for less than $4,000. Just like every step in the process of building this dream shop, I had no idea going into finding a door what type of models there were, what my options were, how to even do this. But I quickly realized that going through a major company to order and install my door was going to be very pricey. I figured out a way to order a Clopay door through Home Depot, and I caught it at just the right time for 15% off. So $3,900 for the 3720 model, has an R value rated at 18.4, fully insulated 2-inch core, which means the door on top of it being insulated is even more solid. I paid a little bit more for a wind-coated door because of the crazy weather we've been having. That's what those little channels are. We got to figure out how to still mount those, all for $3,900. Way better than the $20,000 I was quoted for the insulated roll-up canister door. If I bought this door without the windows from a major garage door company, they're going to charge me $7,500 to install it. So saving money every single step of the way. We still got a ton of work ahead of us because check this out. So as you saw last night, we have to figure out how to hang our track perfectly level and straight from the door up and across these metal purlins. And I'm back running solo, but the good news is I did find my pulleys. So we're gonna be working with this, which I painted a flat black a couple days ago. Reason being, the final plans with the shop is to paint my ceiling black, so the tracks will blend in to the ceiling, so it's not an eyesore, a big bright galvanized piece of metal. Let's get the pulleys up in the sky. Here we go. It's taking forever, but it's looking good. And it's totally my fault it's taking forever because I like things a particular way and executed well, also known as OCD, so all the hardware is facing the same way, all the angles are equal between all the different brackets. And we pulled out the laser level because it's going right across the bolts that's mounted into the purlins. So we got 2 more holes to drill in the purlins, get that angle bracket bolted onto the purlins, and then drop the hanger and then triangulate it for reinforcement, and we're done with brackets. And then from there, we tackle the behemoth, the spring. Measuring. 1/4 inch wider, very back than here at the front. We'll call that a win. All right, Dad. All right, Kent. Thank you again for the help. We actually did pretty dang good. We're only 1/4 inch wider at the very end than at the very top. So once the spring's up, we'll get the door all the way up, and we'll do that final adjustment on these brackets. And I'm going to Alaska for a week, so we'll see you guys then.
He's so excited.
Found the chocolate shop. Literally came all the way to Alaska to film this clip for you guys, and it just so happens, coincidentally, it's our 10-year anniversary, but love you, babe. And we're back. Alaska, absolutely gorgeous. I actually signed out completely. First time in my career and the history of being on YouTube that I've just completely signed out and taken a break. I feel so good, so recharged, but I did miss. I missed the shop. And I kind of sad we didn't finish the door before we left because I wanted to get that done and the video out for you guys beforehand, but we weren't able to get it done, so we're back to finish this thing up. So the garage looks phenomenal, but I am going to add one additional piece of trim, probably about a 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch here, just because I cut the door exactly the size of the garage door, which I heard was the right way to do it. But we're gonna add an additional piece of trim to fill that gap. And then we have the weather stripping, obviously, that goes on as well. Ton of work to do today. And I'm kind of not looking forward to it because it has to deal with the piece of this that can kill me, these massive springs. This isn't a residential door. In addition, because it is a creatively placed door, I'm gonna have to drill through the metal jamb on this side. That way that post, when we mounted that spring, goes all the way through the bracket, but it also is gonna have to go through this metal jamb. Let's go. Two holes are cut and level. We also measured on the inside where the center bracket has to bolt up, which everything kind of rotates off of. So this is gonna bolt 6 inches to the right of the center of the door on the top. And where the 2 bolts are, the top one, unfortunately, actually hits just above our header that we built. So we have 2 2x6s that we're gonna go ahead and nail in there at the top. That way, when the plate goes up, it has some solid locations to bolt to, because that's what the springs actually turn against to lift the door upward. And then we get to figure out how in the world we're getting this really heavy spring 14 feet in the air. Now we're gonna go ahead and run the cable over the top of each of those drums and then do the fun part of winding this spring and that spring. And the specs that came with the spring and with the door called for 10.6 rotations, which is gonna be 42 and a half turns. Amazon.com, 13 bucks. That goes in there. We're gonna rotate that up 1/4 turn at a time, 42 times on this side, 42 times on that side. We cross our fingers that we have our fingers when we finish this. Hit it? Got it? Good. Well, mistakes were made. We gave up because I couldn't figure out why the door wasn't lifting. Something was off, and I just figured out what it was. So after a little bit of research, take a look at the spring. So as I'm winding, the spring is actually decreasing in size, which is opposite of what it's supposed to be doing. It's actually supposed to be increasing in size and actually getting a little bit skinnier, which makes sense because the end started popping off because the diameter of the spring increased too much. So the springs are flipped. They're in the wrong spots, which is just kind of the result of moving really quick and never doing this before. All right, let's go fix our mistake. It's always faster the second time, right? All right, guys, you ready for round two? We are exactly where we were last night when this should have been about done. Ready to start winding, except we're winding in the correct direction, I think, this time. So hopefully the door will actually come up when we try to lift it. We're gonna go ahead and draw a line all the way across because as you go, you double check the amount of rotations. So you count the lines across, -1, that's how many rotations that spring has made. 10.6 rotations is the goal on each side. My arms are freaking dead. There we go again. More to go. Also, if you're affiliated with OSHA, there are safety rails on here. They're just camouflage. 10 more, let's go. Six. Workout for the day. Done. Everything's double checked, buttoned up. In theory, when we release that latch, this door should come up about 1 inch just because of the spring tension, and we should be able to lift it up fairly easy. We still have a few struts to add to the door. I'm gonna do that last. So we're gonna add a little bit of weight at the very end. Let's, for the first time, try this out because last time it went very poorly.
Step down on it. I'm not hearing anything buckle, are you? Pull! You got it. Pull!
All right, so our springs have plenty of tension. 1, 2, 3, pull. Like this door. Complete disaster last night to total success. It's been a few weeks, but the OG Silverado is back in the dream shop, guys. We got a door. It works, it goes right up. And my goodness, that thing was heavy, but my goodness, those springs are really strong. I didn't expect it to kind of shoot up like it does. We do have a little bit of weight to still add to the door. We have a few of those struts to put on through. We got a few little dings on the back side from me being silly, but not bad. This should have been done last night. Having those springs backwards was almost catastrophic because I was winding them in the opposite direction they're meant to wind. So when I say that I'm doing all of this for the first time without any knowledge or experience in it, I'm being honest. I could easily edit that out and pretend it never happened, but I'm showing you guys that this is all real life and all DIY. So we're doing this as best as we can to the best of our knowledge and trying to maximize our dollar in every single step along the way, including a very epic garage door. It doesn't take any space from the shop. Look how high it sits. We definitely do need to add some weight. If you guys are tackling something like this for yourself, be extra careful. This is dangerous stuff. Winding those springs, there's so much tension there, you can actually injure yourself pretty badly. Well, this one was exhausting, but we got it done, guys. We saved a ton of money in the process, got an epic door. I can't thank you guys enough for spending your time watching these videos and allowing me to work with really cool brands like Element to make things like this a reality. This one was a little bit of a beast, but like every single step in the shop build process, I am learning a ton. Hopefully inspiring you to also work with your own two hands and build some epic stuff. That's gonna be it for today. We'll catch you in a few days for our next video. Until that day comes, as always, y'all take care. Ahui ho. Aloha.